A quick rundown of these EG clusters to replace the factory mount. I've been making these for a bunch of different displays. This is the older version 1 that some of you might have. It has screws along the bottom and is completely straight. This new one I'm starting to offer is the version 2. All this upper part is the same, just curves down right here and you lose those bottom screws. So the idea here is interchangeability. So technically, if you decide that you want to upgrade to a version 2 mount without upgrading the housing, you could chop out the center like I did while I was test fitting, or you could just buy a whole new mount so you get a version 2 housing and a version 2 mount. Anyways, the version 1 will likely get discontinued soon as far as a complete unit, and I'll show you some of the version 2 options here shortly. The panels obviously can still get upgraded, so the panel is a cheaper option. So if you're curious, that's what the panel flush mount comparison is. The display is just sticking out from the panel. I only offer that for a couple displays since they have to be small enough to fit in the window of the cluster bezel. So version 1 panel flush mount. Panels could still be used on the version 2 cluster housing. So this part is what I call the housing, and then this would be a panel mount and a flush mount. So I might end up just deleting all these holes and then selling panel mounts with the V2 housing, just to help keep confusion down. Hopefully that all makes sense. And then this is just here's comparison. Now these version 2 clusters, part of the reason why I extended it down is to fit bigger displays than what just that window offered. So this one right here is a Power Tune 10-inch ultra wide. The other big benefit to these is these areas here on the sides of the display are now open so that you can drill into them. That way, if you wanted to add a shift light, blinkers, a 52 millimeter, or I guess 60 millimeter gauge if you have the space for it, USB ports, all that kind of stuff. So that way you can drill into it. It's solid, and then that's compared to, like, I mean, obviously this is support material, but pretty similar. If you don't know about 3D printing, it's all a big shell. So on this version 1, this face is solid, these outer walls are solid, and then this, what would be called the top surface, is all solid. So in between these two solid flat areas is all just hollow and open, and it's full of this stuff essentially. And so you drill into it and it can just wrap around the drill bit and pull everything out, and then you've got a mess. So with this, that's why I cut out most of that. So it is a slightly thicker face than what is on these, but it's only one solid chunk, just like the panels. So you could drill into a panel mount if you wanted as well, blinkers, gauge, something like that. So that being said, those are the main benefits: more displays, ability to drill into the sides. Yeah. And then with them being solid, I'd say they're potentially stronger too. I only have one hand now, but they actually flex slightly and you can bend them. Because they're solid, they print all the other areas slightly faster. Overall, they use about the same material, but there's just less time in each of these layers. So anyways, hopefully that kind of made sense. A little bit all over the place this morning, but as far as the mounting options go, CD7 and FuelTech 700 are still in the works, so I'll have those up soon hopefully. But here you have your Power Tune 10-inch ultra wide, the Power Tune 7-inch probably more common at the moment anyways. So power tune 7-inch. Then you got the Fuel Tech 450, 550, 600. This is the older WBO2 mount, the square style. Again, probably still more common because the new rounded WBO2 is kind of new, similar to the Pro. So if you select the WBO2 option on the website, you'll get this square style. If you select Pro, you'll get this style that's rounded corners, like the new WBO2 and the Pro. So again, 450, 550, 600. And then standard, they'll come mounted on the right side if you select the nano option, but you can leave a note at checkout if you want that mirrored to the left side. Just running out of options that I can add in the drop downs starts to get laggy and everything. So again, 450, 550, or 600 look about like this. And then AIM MXG. Could have it with or without these side button cutouts. Again, this one will come standard with the cutouts, but if you want that just solid covered right there, you can leave a note at checkout. And I know there's kind of rare, but people have those remote buttons. And then same thing, AIM MXS. Could leave a note at checkout, get it without the side button cutouts as well. So MXS, Strata 1.2, 1.3, they're all the same. I also have AIM MXL, I didn't make that, but CD5 also, AIM. Same deal, they're all hollow, or I guess solid, but chopped out on the back. And then Haltech IC7. And last but not least, Haltech UC10. This one just came off the printer. I already sold the first one. Not a lot of room for cutouts on some of, or drilling out on some of these bigger displays, but still got the option there. That way they all fit into the same housing. So that way, if and when you decide you want to switch from Fuel Tech 450, 550, whatever, up to a 700, or same thing, CD5 to hopefully soon CD7, or change from Haltech to Fuel Tech to AEM, you can keep this same housing, and that'll save you like $100 or something like that just to change displays, versus going and buying a whole new cluster and then you're $200-300. On the website, you'd go over to Vehicle Select, and you can now go to right here, 92 through 95 Honda Civic, or scroll down and I have them go select page. And at least at the moment, you'll see there's still the version 1 cluster with the volts along the bottom, and then the panel cluster still using that version 1 housing. And at least at the moment, could be different for you when you see this, but the version 2 is right down here, it says version 2 on it. And then when you see the part number, it'll be EG cluster recessed bolted and then 2, and then you'll have the display type, and then TX is just the finish pattern on the sides here around the display. And then you'll also have all these options that show you what those finish patterns look like. Unfortunately, this carbon 3D, it takes a lot more time to make, and I can only make it on one machine, so that's part of why it's more expensive, at least at the moment, until I figure something else out. So not sure if the lighting's great to show all those, but gives you an idea of what they look like real time. And then you got your drop down here that shows all those display options. Bunch of pictures. I have more I need to upload since I just finished fitment checks, but at the very bottom, I've been trying to also start adding in a 3D model. It's only one display, obviously, the IC7, but I think that would help answer some questions potentially, so you can get more of a feel for what this would look like, in case you're curious about mounting that maybe you don't see in the pictures or something like that. Now if we go back to the vehicle page, you may have noticed that you can also get other parts. So there'll probably be a separate listing, and obviously this one I haven't updated with all those texture finish options, but that way if you want to go and switch from different types of displays in the future, you can do that as well right here on the website. So there'll probably be a version 1 and version 2 of these flush mounts, and then the panels as well. Hopefully this all makes sense, and let me know if you have any questions.